Hello everyone, Branden back for new episodes of Brandon's Boy Problems. I've been away, I guess, for a while, living life, dealing with my own relationship and stress and whatnot, so now I'm ready to talk about it all. Yay! So today's episode is going to be about, I guess, letting go of your dysfunctional, toxic relationship. And I guess no one really expects to find themselves within a toxic relationship or that it's going to be toxic because it's just like you're so wrapped up in the love and the whirlwind of just like romance, especially since it was my first boyfriend and first relationship. So it's just so like consuming, and you just feel the goodness and finally know what it's like to have a boyfriend, be in a relationship, and all the good that comes with it. But then you also have to experience the bad. And my ex and I just broke up after 6 months. It was definitely a tumultuous 6 months together, and I guess it's really hard just letting go and just getting to the point where it's like it's really over, especially since it was breakup makeup for an entire like 6 months. Like I even lost track of how many times we broke up and got back together. It's probably up to like 7 or 8 times, which probably averages out to at least once a month. And it really was just like draining. And in a way, it feels good to be done with just that toxic cycle, even though you know you still love the person, you wanted to be with them, you envisioned a future together, you hope that you could work it out, but it's just after so many times and chances and trying to make it work, it just eventually just collapses, and you're just like, what is the point of ever even continuing to allow this person, I guess, to be in my life? And it's like really hard to, I guess, come to that realization that it's like really over. It's just like we tried so much, but it's just like I can't do this to myself anymore, allow you to have any more chances to try to like just fuck things up or hurt me again. And that's just the hardest part of trying to let go of a dysfunctional relationship, because I feel like I definitely know my fault, despite my faults in the relationship. One of them was never like giving up, because I feel like I was definitely the one that's more, let's work it out, or how do I fix this problem, or how do I try to solve this. But I was just dating someone that was just all like, whenever anything's too hard or difficult, they give up and want to quit on the relationship, and that's just so much of a turn off. And you can't build a future with someone that isn't willing to put in the effort and have the patience to try to build a future together, because that just leads to heartbreak and disappointment, and that's just gonna fail because it takes two people to want to make it work. You can both love each other, you can both want to be together, you can both want this to work in theory, but if both people aren't putting in the effort to actually try to fix things and give each other patience to change and evolve to a better point in the relationship, it's just never going to work out. And I feel like things got to that point where just eventually it's like, okay, we haven't been able to make it work the past like 6 times together. How's it going to work this next time? Unless you maybe, even now, I feel like even though it's over, and even after all like the bad and negative things that happened in the relationship, I still feel like there's a small glimmer of hope, I guess, maybe with time or like evolution or just having time apart, even to, I guess, experience other relationships and realizing like what you had. Or I feel like for him, he needs to experience like how good he actually had someone that loved him and was dedicated to him, but he like threw that away. But yeah, it's just really hard to, I guess, be in this point where it's like it's over. So since it's my first relationship, so it's like, I mean, I've dealt with so much heartbreak and disappointment from guys over the years, and just like dating around and disappointment and breakups and whatever, but they weren't ever actually my boyfriend, so it wasn't really anything serious. Like, it's my first serious relationship that's actually like have to let go of and move on and try to love again. But honestly, I feel like this is probably the easiest breakup we've had so far, just because I feel like I'm actually in the point where it's like I'm just done. Like, I'm just over the drama, the heartbreak, the disappointment, the fighting, the negativity, the troll issues, the back and forth. I'm just over it. Like, it's exhausting, it's draining, and honestly, that is the point. Like, if you want to get past a dysfunctional, toxic relationship that's just in a repeating cycle of drama and toxicity in your life, you just have to get to the point where it's like enough is enough. Like, it's so draining, and eventually you just lose hope that it's never going to get better, and then you just have to let go. And I feel like that is pretty much the only way you can let go of it, is when you get to that point where it's just like, I can't take this anymore. I need time to myself. I need space. I need freedom. I need to feel like myself again, and I feel so much better without you in my life bringing me down, draining me of my energy and whatnot. So yeah, it is really hard getting to this point where it's like you do think of all the good times you had together, just like cuddling, kissing, the affection, the romance, like walking hand in hand, and everyone complimenting you how cute you look together and how happy you felt when you were with them. But to really truly let go, you have to just think of all the terrible times, the fighting, the drama, the verbal abuse, physical abuse, like everything that just was so, I can't deal with this anymore. This is making my life miserable, and I just really don't want to deal with this anymore. So yeah, it is hard moving on, letting go of your first true love, but you just have to. That's life. Moving on, loving again, having hope that the next relationship won't be as bad, and definitely making sure you don't fall for the same type of person, because that does happen to a lot of people that are in toxic relationships. They just go for the same type of guy and it's just another toxic relationship. But really, you just have to make sure you aren't repeating the same mistakes and that you are actually making the efforts and changes, knowing what you did wrong in this relationship, and make sure you don't bring that drama and toxicity into the next relationship. And I definitely think that I'm at a point where I definitely know, like, not to repeat the same mistakes. If anyone even like shows the negative characteristics of my ex, I'm just gonna like drop it, run away, like not even let it get that far, and just make sure that you get a better sense of yourself and a better sense of how a relationship that's healthy and loving should be, and making sure never to allow yourself to be sucked into toxic drama again. So thanks for joining me for another episode of Brandon's Boy Problems.